32 offers on a house, are fixed rates dropping? And I've been hearing we're in a buyer's market. Is that true? Today's live Q&A, November 10th, 2023. Let's go through each one of those questions. So first off, are fixed rates dropping? Well, I am not a mortgage broker, as you know, but that being said, I do connect with mortgage brokers very regularly, and with the bond rates dropping in the past week, we've noticed that fixed rates have also been trending a little bit downwards to relieve a little bit of the pressure from where things were even just a couple weeks ago. On the variable side, the Bank of Canada has decided to hold the rate yet again, which has not increased the variable rate side as well. So definitely been seeing a little bit better interest rate percentages as we've been treading along here this week in November. Definitely could bring some buyers back, or at least get a little more borrowing power. If you have a renewal, it might be a good time to reach out to your current mortgage broker and ask if the pre-approved rate that you've received has changed, and maybe it's a little bit better for you, which could help in the pre-approval process. And I believe those rates are able to be held for 90 or even 120 days. So maybe worth reaching out to your mortgage broker for that pre-approval, just to make sure that you lock in. If the rate is low, maybe for this week, and who knows what will happen next week, maybe you can lock in a little bit better of a rate for you. So definitely worth the conversation at the very least. Next one. I saw 32 offers on a house yesterday. Yes, that is true. That did happen in Whitby. It was a house listed at $699, 32 offers. Definitely surprising, of course. We haven't seen that many offers on properties in quite some time. There's two things that I think about this. For one, of course, they were priced ultra competitively at $700,000, and the house is probably worth much more than that, which is the reason why they priced it at that, to generate some buyer activity. That being said, the property did need a lot of work, so it could be that could be an option for either a renovator or someone looking for their forever home. They want to put some renovations into it. The other thing that tells me is that, before we get into that, the first thing is that we don't know any aspects of the property or of the offers that came in on the property. So it'll be yet to see what that has actually sold for. When it gets updated, I'll definitely, I can update anyone who asks on social media or whatever it may be. This is what it tells me when I see 32 offers on a property that was listed at $699 in Whitby. What it does say to me is that there are 31 other buyers who did not get this property, that their budget is probably somewhere, and this is a total guess, but probably somewhere between $650 and $850. So if that's the case, then there are 31 other buyers that have been waiting in the market for that deal, and this is the one that they thought they could get on offer night. Interestingly enough, I do think that there are a lot of buyers on the sideline right now waiting for either the perfect property or the perfect deal to come along. And as we've been going along, if those deals arise, I do think that you'll know if it's a deal if you're actively searching in the market as a buyer and seeing what things are selling for and what things are going for. Then when you see a property that has had a reduced price point and it's within kind of a really good, let's say it's in a good purchase price standpoint, then you'll know it's a deal because you're out there looking at other properties. You won't really know if it's a deal if you're on the sidelines and not actively following what things are selling for and not actively out there seeing what things look like in person, because photos and in person are definitely two different things. And I'm not going to get into photos with iPhones today. That's not part of today's live Q&A. But anyway, that's where I think if you are a buyer and you are looking for a deal on a property, first of all, condos have been a little bit slower, or significantly slower. That they're in buyer territory in the Toronto CO1 downtown core area. Same with Toronto CO8 as well. We'll get into that in a second for the next question. But you'll know if it's a deal if you're actively in the market and you're actively seeing what things are selling for. And then if you do find a good price on something, it might be worth purchasing if that's what you're looking for, if it checks all your boxes or at least most of your boxes, and you're getting a good purchase price, especially compared to where things were even earlier this year and from the peak of 2022. Next one, I keep hearing we're in a buyer's market. Is that true? Definitely depends on product and area. If, for example, you're looking for that specific property in Whitby and you competed with 31 other offers last night, well, that kind of property in that area is in high demand, judging by the amount of activity on the property. I heard they also had over 100 showings. I don't know for sure, but that's just what I've heard through the grapevine of realtors. It really depends on product and area. So if you're looking for a condo right now in Toronto CO1 and CO8, I have the stats from October that just came out just over a week ago. 1,310 active listings, Toronto CO1, and 199 sales. So there are 6.6 months of inventory, one of the highest level of inventories we have seen in a long time. Toronto CO8, 761 active listings, 109 sales, 6.9 months of inventory, which is a lot of inventory when it comes to options for buyers in today's market. Now, a good portion of those properties are either tenanted or vacant, I've noticed, so that's something that stands out as well. If you're okay with a longer closing and you're looking to move into the property, then maybe something can be worked out where you give enough notice to the tenant. That being said, if you're looking to purchase an investment property and the property is tenanted, then you would inherit the tenant, or you would keep the tenant on at their current rate. So just something to speak with your real estate professional on what are the options there, and it has to be done the right way, of course. That's super important. So definitely something to factor in. The other thing we've been noticing is that the properties that are priced really well, look really good, still seem to be getting some attention if they're in great buildings and all the usual stuff. There's properties in great buildings that look really good and are done really nicely and photographed really well generally will get more attention. But stuff that doesn't look so great could be where some really good opportunities lie here in the downtown core of Toronto for condos specifically. So hope that answers your question. Live Q&A. If you ever have any questions, drop them in the comments down below. Send me a message and we'll get into them next week on Friday's Q&A.